Imagine this. You're 18, sitting across from the girl who's been haunting your mind for months. Your heart feels like it's about to punch through your ribs. You've built this moment up in your head like it's the climax of a movie. You think, no, you believe that if you just say the perfect thing, if you play the perfect version of yourself, she'll finally get it. She'll finally see you. But she doesn't. She smiles politely, thanks you for being such a good friend, and starts telling you about the guy she actually wants. Your chest tightens. Your throat goes dry. You force a smile to hide the knife twisting in your gut. If you're a man, this isn't a story someone told you. This is a story you've lived. Maybe in high school. Maybe in college. Maybe last month. But here's the part no one warned you about: it doesn't end there. This same story repeats in your 20s. Your 30s. Your 40s. Different faces. Different settings. Same result. Why? Why does it feel like women move through life carrying a secret playbook men only discover through heartbreak, humiliation, and years of confusion? Why do so many men waste decades chasing illusions, illusions fed to them by movies, mothers, teachers, Instagram, and pickup artists, instead of confronting the raw, unsanitized reality staring them in the face? Today, we burn the illusions. Because until you face the one truth about women, you will remain blind, fumbling through life, begging for scraps of attention, bleeding dignity on the altar of your own ignorance. We live in an age of lies. On one side, mainstream culture hands you the fairy tale: women are angels. Flawless. Selfless. Pure-hearted creatures who fall for the guy with the biggest heart, the sweetest words, the most romantic soul. On the other side, bitter corners of the internet scream the opposite: women are monsters. Hypergamous. Manipulative. Incapable of loyalty. Gold-digging demons programmed to destroy men. Both sides are wrong. Both sides keep you weak. Both sides keep you trapped. The truth? Women are neither angels nor demons. They are human animals forged by evolution, shaped by survival, tuned by forces far older than Instagram, Tinder, or your feelings. Until you understand this, not in theory, but in your bones, you will keep losing. This isn't about hating women. It isn't about worshiping them either. It's about ripping away the lies and seeing them as they are, not as you wish they were. Because blind men suffer. And blind men stay blind until reality beats the softness out of them. Here's the truth you were never told: women are not responding to the fantasy in your head. They are responding to instincts older than civilization itself. They are not the angels your mother told you they were. They are not the villains your favorite YouTuber screams about. They are human beings tuned by evolution for survival first. Everything else, romance, love, loyalty, comes after. This is where the knife twists. What actually draws women isn't what you were told growing up. It's not flowers. It's not pouring out your feelings. It's not proving how safe, harmless, and endlessly available you are. It's dominance. It's competence. It's direction. Not loud, insecure bravado, but the quiet, unshakable presence of a man who does not beg, who does not chase, who does not need. Because here's the cold reality: niceness does not equal value. Niceness is expected. Niceness is background noise. If you are nice but weak, nice but broke, nice but spineless, her instincts will not respect you. And without respect, there is no attraction. For thousands of years, a woman's survival depended on choosing a man who could protect, provide, and lead. The men who failed at this didn't just stay single. They vanished. Their bloodlines ended. Evolution erased them without mercy. Do you understand what that means? It means attraction was never about romance. It was about life or death. Fast forward to today. Modern life hides this brutal logic under dating apps, nightclubs, and social media, but the wiring hasn't changed. Women still feel the pull toward men who signal survival. Not consciously. Instinctively. She might say she wants kindness, sensitivity, and emotional openness, and she does. But when instinct collides with words, instinct wins. Every single time. This is why the guy who barely texts her back often has her obsessed, while the guy writing her good morning paragraphs gets ghosted. It's not mystery. It's not magic. It's biology. It's the ancient, merciless whisper in her blood: choose the man who can lead. Choose the man who can win. Here's the part most men never face: the qualities you were taught to prioritize, compliance, deference, people-pleasing, are the same qualities her instincts associate with weakness. And weakness does not attract. Weakness repels. This is why so many men waste years misunderstanding women, thinking love is about performance, sacrifice, or constant validation, while the man with purpose, with direction, with backbone, never has to explain himself. Because instinct recognizes strength before it recognizes anything else. Does this mean women are shallow? That love is fake? That loyalty doesn't exist? No. It means love and loyalty grow on top of strength, not in place of it. A woman can love deeply. She can be loyal fiercely. But only if her instincts respect the man first. Without that respect, nothing else matters. So here is the truth, the one you've avoided because it cuts too deep: women are not responding to the fairy tale in your head. They are responding to the laws of nature. And nature does not care about your feelings. You can cry about it. You can call it unfair. You can rage at women, at society, at the universe itself. It won't change anything. The only question worth asking is this: what are you going to do with that knowledge? Because until you confront this reality, until you kill the illusions, you will keep living the same story. Different faces. Same ending. And the world does not pity slow learners. So now you know. You've swallowed the jagged truth. Women are not the angels you dreamed of, not the demons the internet warned you about. They are human animals tuned by forces older than history, older than language itself. But knowing isn't enough. Because here's the part that will crush you if you're not careful: understanding women doesn't automatically make you a man worth respecting. You can memorize every psychological study, quote every red pill guru, recite every evolutionary fact about hypergamy and primal instinct until your throat goes dry, and it won't matter. Because knowledge alone doesn't change how she feels when she looks at you. And feelings, raw, primal, unfiltered feelings, decide everything. Let's be brutally honest: most men are soft. Not physically soft, though plenty are, but mentally soft. Spiritually soft. They move through life like leaves in the wind. No purpose. No mission. No edge. They build their entire identity around female validation, then cry when the foundation collapses. They think attraction is something you buy with effort, with favors, with nice guy points. But you don't buy attraction. You command it. And command does not come from begging, pleasing, or explaining yourself into exhaustion. It comes from becoming a man who doesn't need to beg at all. Here's the paradox that destroys weak men: the less you need women, the more they respond to you, not because you're playing games, not because you're pretending to be aloof, but because needing nothing signals power. And power is survival. The man who can walk away holds all the leverage. The man who will walk away if respect is lost becomes the man her instincts can't ignore. That's why you've seen women chase men who didn't treat them like royalty. Not because women like jerks. That's a child's interpretation. They chase the man who doesn't orbit around them like the sun. The man whose life already has gravity. So what does this mean for you? It means stop asking, "How do I get women to like me?" Wrong question. Start asking, "How do I become a man who commands respect, with or without women?" Because here's the ugly truth: you don't fix this by learning pickup lines. You don't fix this by sending longer texts, nicer gifts, or rehearsed compliments. You fix this by becoming dangerous. Not reckless. Not abusive. Not loud. Dangerous as incompetent. Dangerous as incapable. Dangerous as in a man who builds a life so strong, so sharp, so undeniable, that a woman either steps into it with respect, or watches you walk away forever. Modern men hate this advice because it demands everything they've been avoiding: discipline over distraction, purpose over comfort, standards over desperation. It demands you stop crying about female nature and start building the kind of man nature actually rewards. Because nature does not care about your excuses. The world does not pity men who refuse to evolve. Look back at history. Men who commanded respect weren't the ones whining in taverns about women. They were warriors, builders, leaders, thinkers. Men who carved their names into stone, into empires, into the DNA of the future. They didn't have to chase. They didn't have to beg. Women followed because their instincts screamed, "This man wins." And women have always wanted to be with men who win. Not men who complain about losing. So here is the shift: stop obsessing over how to attract women. Start obsessing over becoming the kind of man women cannot ignore. The kind of man whose respect is worth earning. The kind of man whose time feels like gold because it is gold, rare, valuable, never wasted. The kind of man whose mission burns so brightly that a woman knows she can join his path, but she will never become the path itself. Because when you truly become that man, when you live with strength, direction, and purpose, you'll understand something liberating. You never really had a women problem. You had a man problem. And the second you solve that, everything else changes. Here's where most men fail: they hear the truth. They nod their heads. They feel the sting of recognition. And then, nothing changes. They keep living like soft clay, waiting for the world to mold them into something respectable. But the world doesn't mold you. It crushes you, breaks you, grinds you into dust, unless you hammer yourself into steel first. And here's the first step in that transformation: 1. Kill the fantasy. The fantasy that if you say the right words, send the right texts, become the perfect, nice guy, she will fall for you. No. Women do not respond to romance first. They respond to strength first. If you cannot command respect, all the candlelight dinners in the world won't matter. Stop watching movies that lied to you. Stop consuming media that paints women as saints who reward suffering men for existing. That fantasy keeps you weak. Rip it out by the roots. 2. Build a life with teeth. Most men have no gravity. They have jobs they hate, bodies they neglect, minds they never sharpen, missions they never pursue. And then they wonder why women don't feel anything when they walk into a room. It's because you carry no weight. A man with no mission is invisible. Build a life with teeth. Goals sharp enough to cut through distraction. Work so relentless it drags you out of bed when comfort whispers for you to stay down. Make money. Build skill. Cultivate discipline until even your presence feels different, harder, sharper, heavier. 3. Stop chasing, start choosing. Weak men orbit women like satellites. Every text, every call, every favor is an act of worship. Stop. A man with value chooses. He does not beg. He does not audition for attention like a trained dog hoping for scraps. When you chase, you broadcast scarcity. When you choose, you radiate power. She either earns a place in your world or watches you walk away without hesitation. That energy changes everything. 4. Respect yourself ruthlessly. If you let women disrespect you, flake on you, use you, string you along, you are training them to see you as disposable. Respect starts with you. Set boundaries. Enforce them without trembling. The man who tolerates disrespect has already lost. The man who demands respect without apology makes instincts light up like fire. 5. Become dangerous, in the right way. Not loud. Not reckless. Dangerous because you're capable. Because you can fight, build, protect, walk away, start over. Dangerous because you control yourself while other men lose themselves. The world bends for men like that. Women feel it in their bones even if they can't explain why. 6. Understand, then lead. When you understand women's instincts, you stop resenting them. You stop crying about hypergamy, about attraction, about games. You lead. Because you finally see the truth, women aren't the enemy. They're the test. The question is simple: are you a man worth following? If yes, everything changes. If no, nothing will. Here's the part weak men hate: this transformation is slow, brutal, unforgiving. It takes years, sacrifice, failure, nights where you feel like you're breaking apart just to rebuild stronger. But the reward? You stop begging for attention. You stop living in confusion. You stop mistaking crumbs of female validation for love. You become the man women want, not because you're chasing them, but because you finally became someone worth catching. And here's the final truth most men never accept: women don't change for you. The world doesn't change for you. You change for you. Or you stay weak. Those are the only two options. Listen carefully, because this is the part that decides everything. No one is coming to save you. Not your parents. Not your friends. Not the woman you secretly hope will notice your good heart someday. No one. You either evolve, or you stay forgotten. Those are the only two paths. The brutal truth most men never face: the world doesn't care about your feelings. It doesn't care how many times you've been rejected, ignored, or humiliated. It doesn't care how nice you are, how hard you try, or how much you think you deserve a break. Nature has one question for you: are you useful? Are you strong? Competent? Respected? Dangerous enough to protect what's yours and build what you need? If the answer is no, the world moves on without you. Women move on without you. And life doesn't slow down to explain why. Stop negotiating with weakness. Weak men waste years asking the wrong questions. How do I make her like me? How do I get respect? How do I feel confident? Stop. Confidence is not something you get. Respect is not something you ask for. Attraction is not something you convince her to feel. These things come when you become the man who doesn't need to beg for them in the first place. And that means killing the version of you that thinks weakness is an option. The man who wins. The man who wins doesn't whine about women. He doesn't spend nights scrolling forums, blaming society, crying about female nature. He builds his body, his mind, his money, his mission. He builds so relentlessly that women either step into his world with respect, or vanish from it like dust in the wind. Because here's the secret every strong man knows: women don't follow men because of charm, looks, or perfect words. They follow men whose lives already have gravity. The cost of staying the same. If you stay weak, the world will chew you up and spit you out. You'll keep living the same story. Different faces. Same rejection. Different years. Same misery. You'll keep pouring effort into women who feel nothing for you while they chase men who don't even notice they have competition. And the worst part? No one will feel sorry for you. Because deep down, everyone knows the truth: a man who refuses to evolve chooses his own irrelevance. The ultimatum. So here it is. Stop blaming. Stop begging. Stop waiting for life to hand you respect, power, or love. Start building the man who commands those things by default. The man who doesn't flinch when tested. The man whose standards cut through weakness like a blade. The man who becomes the storm instead of praying for better weather. Because the clock is ticking. Every day you waste crying about women or society or unfairness is another day burned in mediocrity. And nature erases mediocrity without remorse. Evolve or stay forgotten. That's it. That's the choice. No speeches. No second chances. No applause for effort. The world only remembers the men who rise. Everyone else is dust.